Good morning, Apocalypse. Beautiful day to be alive. Hey.
It's Naomi and Dad in the morning.
All right, I'm gonna get some stuff done.
All right.
Yes, a beautiful day to be a survivor because we bugged out. I say that all the time, listen to me very carefully. Bugging out should be your last resort. Your castle has all your food supplies, your stores, everything. And then if you do bug out, you need a location to go to, and it's not gonna be a tent in the forest. This is not your goal. You need to have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, all the way down to plan Z, and always plan for everything. That way, plan Z is your last resort.
Like World War Z.
Like World War Z. The fast chasing zombies, yeah. Brad Pitt, he had no time to pack anything. In fact, a tent for him would have been wonderful. All right, so here's the thing. It comes down to this. We're gonna show you some techniques, some strategies when it comes to being in the forest. It has to happen. I mean, it's happened to some people. And so therefore you wanna be ready because, you know, if you end up in the forest, last ditch emergency, you head out. Sometimes you have to do what you have to do. But what happens if it's in the winter? What happens if it's in the summer? I mean, honestly, summer up here in Michigan, I'd be like, yes, that's great. Summer in Florida, not so great. Arizona, not so great. So we're gonna go through some techniques. Let's start off with the winter first. How do we prepare for this? How do you sleep in a tent in the middle of the winter? Well, how are you gonna do it in the summer too? So we're gonna go through some tips and strategies. Stick with us. I wanna show you all kinds of different things to be able to be prepared. Because listen, again, it may be your plan Z, but on the same note, plan Z still have to happen sometimes, and you wanna be prepared for this. First off, you need to get off the ground. It will suck your heat away fast. I got these cots at Costco, really cheap. You don't have to have these. I have a self-inflating air mattress, a big one, that literally uses an air compressor to blow it up. It's really nice. But the huge air mattress with the compressor takes up a lot of space. Maybe you don't have that much room. You may want to consider getting a self-inflating air pad. I don't even want to call this a mattress because it's certainly small compared to a mattress, but it is self-inflating. It's one of the coolest things in the world. And I actually keep this in my backpack. And notice I have two pads in here just for extra warmth and protection. I have one of these little foamy pads. I know a lot of people, that's all they carry in their backpack are one of these. I carry this giant self-inflating one as well as my little pad. And on top of that with this cot, this is fantastic. So Ashley and I both have one of these. This happens to be Ashley's I grabbed. But these are really neat. So all I do is take this valve, open it, and off it goes. It's literally filling up with air. Now, they can take a little while to fill up, which isn't a big deal. And they can get pricey, and they can actually get kind of heavy too. I mentioned before, if you're like backpacking, ounces turn into pounds, pounds turn into pain. So literally, you may want to even consider not even taking one of these. But listen, I'll be honest with you. I used to, back in the military, sleep on the ground. Out in the middle of the woods, no tent, nothing, sleep on the ground. Well, I'm not that young guy anymore. And honestly, sleeping in my travel trailer, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So if I'm out here like this, even if we're talking about crap, it's the fan, the more little luxuries I have, the better. I always talk about if we're gonna bug out in the car anyway. But with this pad, you literally fill it up or open it up and it starts filling up with air. Then the last little bit you blow into it to make it so it becomes nice and firm and plump so you can sleep on it. Oh yeah, this is the life. This is a Magellan air mattress. I'll link it below. But there's lots of different ones on the market you can pick up. And this is not it, by the way. I mean, this gets me off the ground. We need to go a lot further than simply just getting off the ground when it comes to trying to keep warm in a tent. So let me show you what else we do. Lots and lots and lots of sleeping bags. Hey.
Layers, layers, layers. That's the key. I have the sleeping bag underneath, one I'm laying in, and one I use as a blanket. But it's important to make sure to find a sleeping bag that can be used for the temperature of your area. But layers like this isn't even it.
But also layers on top of the tent. Let me explain. A big tent like this, hopefully this is for like a big family like ours. We have 11 of us. So your body heat in there can actually help keep you warm. If you're a single person or two people in this big tent, forget it. Trying to keep it warm in there is awful. But even if you're in this tent, you want to be able to put protection on the top. Now, this is the shroud, the rain cover that goes on top of the tent. I'll put that in a few minutes. But same thing, it's very thin. This will let the heat up very fast. So before you put this on, and it's wintertime, get as many blankets and sleeping bags and anything you can to then make layers on top of the tent. Now this external frame tent is made for this kind of thing because you can literally put the rain cover on and stuff it, stuff it, stuff it. It will make the top cave in a little bit, but the frame is made to hold it up, and it'll create a huge insulation layer inside the tent. Now, I'll be honest with you, in the wintertime, you're not going to be able to have a lot of sunlight coming in, but it's going to help you keep warm. So put the tent or the sleeping bags on, pack it full, then put your rain cover on so that way all the rain doesn't get put into your sleeping bags and blankets. And it's going to set up a really thick insulation layer for your tent.
There we go. The rain cover's on. It's stuffed full of blankets and sleeping bags, ready for the winter, but there is another option.
Tell me, Naomi, how do you know it's going to be stressful camping in the apocalypse?
Oh no, dad joke alert. I don't know how.
Because it's 2 tents. Get it? 2 tents?
Oh yeah. Now, small tents are ideal. Like these ones, these are backpacking tents. There are far more expensive ones, but this one will do. Perfect for 2 people, even 3. It might be a little claustrophobic, but you put the rain cover on, put some blankets and sleeping bag, and this is gonna be toasty warm.
So small tent for a small party, 2 or 3 people. Big tent for a big party, lots of people. And tell you, it's gonna be a party in the winter, right? It's gonna be frigid cold. And the thing is, a lot of people talk about having one of those tents, and I'm not knocking this, is great. One of those tents that has a wood burning stove inside. Fantastic. They're heavy, they're bulky, they take a lot of prep. But honestly, if you have a vehicle, maybe you have a Jeep and you always keep that tent in there, that's great. But it also poses one more problem. Wood. Are you going to take in all the wood you need for the whole winter too? I'm thinking like for a tent like this, let's say you actually have a wood stove in this one, you're probably looking at maybe a cord of wood, a face cord anyway, to get through the winter. Are you going to pack that with you as well? So having heat is essential, but one of those wood stoves, I think it's great for like a hunting party. You know, maybe you actually go hunting once a year, or maybe a big family thing. But I will say that if you have a lot of snow like we have up here in Michigan, trying to scavenge wood during the winter while you're bugging out is going to be a lot more challenging than you think. I'm all about those big tents with the wood stoves. Those are great, but it may not be the best bugging out tool. So let's talk about strategies now. Instead of just the tents, let's talk about strategies of things you could do in the tent specifically to keep warm.
And one of the strategies is dressing in layers. Hat, sweatshirt or jacket, insulated work gloves, because you still need to get work done, and wool socks. Or actually, anything that touches the skin has to be wool, because cotton kills.
And another strategy is keeping warm. Wait, where'd it all go? I have no idea. But anyway, people talk about drinking whiskey or liquor to keep warm in the winter. It gives you the feeling of being warm. And as a doctor, let me tell you what happens is it literally opens up the capillaries on your skin. So literally you have more blood flow to the skin. You're like, oh, I feel warm. It makes you feel better. But the problem is this. When you drink whiskey, for example, or liquors, it opens it up. It releases your heat. So you're literally draining out more body heat in the atmosphere around you. It may feel good temporarily, as far as like keeping warm, that is, not feeling good, if you know what I mean. But it's gonna make you feel good temporarily, but you're gonna lose more body heat. So try to stay away from any type of liquor type products.
So what can I drink? Hot beverages, that is the key. It actually warms your body up and keeps you nice and toasty. Coffee, tea, you can even drink hot water, but even like hot chocolate, nice apocalyptic day. However, how can I heat it up?
One option is with a Biolite. It's a little rocket stove. This thing's amazing. It has a fan which helps you get the fire going. Then after a little bit, the fan turns into a generator so it can power your devices. We have a bunch of these Biolites and we love them and use them all the time.
A perfect combination. We have our percolator going.
But of course, we're back to cooking with wood. And I'll say it again, if you have a foot of snow on the ground, trying to find dry wood, seasoned wood, is going to be almost impossible. And one of the novice things I find people do is they'll cut limbs off of trees, even in the wintertime, and think they're gonna burn. Rarely will you find them that'll burn that way. So I think even trying to cook food, trying to heat yourself with hot liquids might be impossible or close to it. So at least for food purposes, you may seriously want to consider getting some freeze-dried food. I talk about American Reserves all the time as one of our sponsors. We try their foods all the time on the channel, and we love them. So get lots of freeze-dried food. That way at least you can survive without looking for like squirrels and trying to cook them. That's summertime duties. Well, have freeze-dried food to keep nourished. Now, besides that, we're back to square one. How are you going to keep warm besides simply just the room temperature air from your body heat? There is a way.
This is the EcoFlow Wave 2. This is the world's first air conditioner and heater that is battery powered. Perfect for camping and bugging out.
And we're not just preppers, by the way. We're adventurers. That's what we do. We're always out and about doing things. We've traveled across the whole country. We lived on a camper looking for our place in Michigan, and we lived on a boat too. And all these places would have been perfect for this Wave 2. And let me tell you why. Not even just camping. You know, we've backpack camped in Florida. it gets pretty warm inside a tent in the middle of the night, and having an air conditioner would have been fantastic, or even more so. We lived on our boat. Boy, we in Florida traveling around in our boat. We had an air conditioner for it, by the way, but it was a piece of junk. We bought it used, and as long as the boat was at dock and we plugged it in, it kept us relatively cool. It probably just needed a recharge. But anyways, once we left out and headed out in the ocean, we did have the cool breezes, but there was no air conditioning, and this Wave 2 would have been fantastic for this. But again, it's not just for hot environments, but for cold too. We backpacked in the snow. There was a time we were actually camped outside of Aspen in Colorado, and the next morning, everything was one layer of ice. Having this Wave 2 would have kept me toasty warm, which I was not. I froze my tuchus off. So let me show you some of the things this Wave 2 will do, because it's great for, obviously, heating you up when you're trying to keep warm in the cold times when you're like camping.
Now, you have to understand, this could be life or death. You can bring it inside the tent and no ducts are needed. All you have to do, and just turn it on. Now, right now, the fan is on. But if you want to find the heater, press this button twice, and you can tell when the orange light is on. Oh, this is so nice and toasty and warm.
Now, this is fantastic. It only takes about 5 minutes to warm up the entire tent. Pretty neat. And with a full charge on the battery, it can keep heating for 8 hours. Definitely great. I mean, if you're out here permanently, or for at least for a few weeks, 8 hours is not going to cut it. So we do have some other options. Let me show you.
Now, if you want to drastically increase the time on this, even up to 8 hours, you're going to need the EcoFlow Delta 2 Max. All you need is this cord. Plug it in here. Plug the other end here. With this combo, we can get up to 16 hours, but there's even something better.
And that something better, solar panels. Now you can use the sun, the power of the sun, to recharge your Delta 2 Max, and keeping it charged up will make it sustainable, so literally you can have heat the entire winter long. This is by far the best solution for maintaining heat, keeping you alive during those cold, cold winter months.
What's even better about this is that it's not just for your tent. You can use it in your RV, your car, your boat, or your home if you lose power. Perfect in any emergency.
Boy, talking about working. Look, it melted all the snow outside.
Dad, it's summer.
Oh, that'd explain all the green leaves. But you know what? Maybe you're bugging out in the summer. Maybe you're camping with the summer, hanging out outdoors in the summer. This EcoFlow 2 is perfect for this also, because guess what? It's also a portable battery-powered air conditioner.
Now for the heater, you can also bring it outside, but for the air conditioner, you have to bring it outside. So we brought it here to demonstrate. Now for the cold air, we have to bring this duct on the front, which will channel the air conditioning into the tent. The little snowflake says we're on air conditioning and we're ready to go. Beautiful air conditioning in our tent. And it is very cold.
And just like before, you can plug it into the Delta 2 Max, use solar panels, and enjoy beautiful air conditioning all summer long.
That sounds like the perfect vacation for me.
Yummy. It's not a vacation. This is the apocalypse. We talked about this. All right, so in the description below, you can click on the links and purchase one of these on your own. And also, I'm going to link this video here where you can go see us review the entire EcoFlow 2. And we're all set. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you tomorrow.